Hello, YouTube. Sorry, I got a bit of a cold today. Turn your volumes down so you don't catch my cough. Hello, Age.
Evening, man. How's it going? You good?
Oh, that was for people that didn't know, Bob Marley, Get Up, Stand Up. Stand up for your rights. Yes. Hello to everyone in the chat. Agent X, good evening. Hello. Matty England, I see you in Dr. K's stream a few days ago. Hello, mate. Eyes on the audit. Hello, Mellows. Oh, we got Mrs. J here. We got Epstein didn't kill himself.
That's a good name.
Sir Almighty Bulge. Hello. Thanks for joining the stream, guys. To the captain of the starship, if you're still watching, I completely forgot about Glenn's stream today. Yeah.
So what are we talking about today? Protests. Historical, current and future, I suppose.
So protests. Let me just read something out. Article 10 of the European Convention, Human Rights. Everyone has the right to freedom of expression. Also, hello to Anoniq. All right, mate. We've got the link in the chat if anyone wants to join.
But then you got like regulations around protesting, such as the Public Order Act, the Criminal Justice Act, the Terrorism Act. There's certain things you can protest, but it seems like you got to get permission from the police and the council, or I don't know. I've never organised a protest, so.
Well, I've been going to these. I go to a lot of protests. Some of them need permits. They're called something. I forgot the word now.
Yeah.
They're called something. It's called something, but permit. Yeah. To protest, but some of the we're going to speak about it later. But some of the COVID-19 protests, lockdown protests, they were going out protests. They were announcing that they didn't get permission from anyone. They just promoted it, and here we are today at the protest.
Yeah, I bet there was a lot of people that did that.
Yeah, that's probably why it was so stiff with the police during the lockdown. Because they didn't have any permission to protest. We were out, well, I was filming, streaming, reporting live, but they were all protesting. But here we go, let's make the chart full screen. Let's go through the 5 topics that we got. So we got historical protests, COVID-19 protests, police infiltration, current front protests, and then we got future protests.
I was having a look at like the history, and it was saying that in Greece, they reckon that's where protests first happened. But I suppose it's been happening ever since humans have been around. So,
what are you talking about? the history of humans like protesting. I
Yeah,
know about.
ancient
I've
Greek.
got notes about the first protests in London. They
Yeah.
weren't called protests; they were riots, more riots than protests.
Or one of the first ones I I've found in England was in the 1600s was the diggers, and they were like the English peasants who protested against basically all the lands were like enclosed and you weren't allowed to go on any of the lands.
Wow.
So I think that was up until about 100 years ago. And then they created like common land where, you know, like the little paths that go in between two bits of land or whatever. So imagine like where you were born, there was no roads to go to anywhere else. It was all just like thick forests, and you
Yeah,
weren't allowed on anyone's land because you were a peasant.
a peasant.
Yeah. So I suppose that's probably where,
Hello to all the peasants in the chat that
yeah,
can't step on the green.
that's where the peasants revolted. Or then we was talking about there was one called the Peterloo Massacre where basically there was a massive volcano and it caused that all the harvest and the crops to fail across Europe. So there was like a year without summer.
Oh
And what the
wow.
government did is they created like loads of corn laws. So there was a massive
There was
protest in Manchester called Peterloo, where a lot of people like died, and yeah, it was 18 people died. There you
You're
go.
saying there was no summer. Was that because of the ashes of the volcano?
I think so, yeah.
Wow.
And then yeah, I'll get that Peterloo Massacre.
Must have been a massive one if it lasted for the summer. Jeez.
It was like a whole year of no summer, really cold temperatures. And then I suppose everywhere around the world, when the crops started failing, people started protesting and rioting because they're starving. And then governments around the world start creating laws to protect all these bits of land, or to protect the rich and their land.
Yeah, it was all about land back then, isn't it, in England? Everyone had the land, and everyone else was in the cities, in the
I don't
slums.
think you weren't allowed to vote unless you owned land up until a certain year. I don't know the year.
Here's a question for the chat. I just want the chat to answer if they know this. If they don't, Age, you can answer if they don't know. What happened in England on Saturday, the 15th of February, 2003?
Even I don't know that one, if I'm honest.
Two boomers, he might know this one.
2003.
New law, says Agent X. No, it wasn't a new law protest.
Was it? No. I was going to say the 7/7 bombings in London. I can't remember though. Was it the Iraq War? The big
I said the
protest?
date, 15th of
Was it
February.
yeah, there you go. Matty England says, was it the Iraq War protest, maybe?
That's it, Matty.
Where there was
England
like
is
over
right.
1 million people there.
Over 1.5 million people there, yeah.
Do you know what? I think that was probably one of the last ever protests I ever went to, you know.
Really?
Thinking about it. That was years ago, yeah. 20
I
years
was
ago.
only 13.
I must have been about 17, 18 or something.
And you went to it. Why
And I
did you
just
go to
remember,
it?
like, because I remember loads of us people were going. I just
Yeah.
remember that they ended up going to the war anyway, so it was a waste of time. I think that was it. I was like, that's it. I'm never going to one again. It's a load of bollocks. You know, that was the biggest in my lifetime, and since in the UK, I've never seen anything ever bigger than that. And even that, they just like, nah, fuck it, we're going to war. Bit like what's happening in France at the minute with the pension thing. Like the whole
Oh,
country's like, no,
France.
we don't want it. So the government are just like, no, we're going to do it anyway. There you go, change the law.
Yeah.
So it's like authoritarianism, isn't it? That's why I think protests are bollocks, because it's more for like media, I suppose. They can use protests as and when they need for like spin.
What did you say? Spin it.
For like spin, yeah, like, I don't know, political spin, or, you know, what they do. They spin things to their own benefits.
Yeah.
I used to go to, like, years and years ago when I was a little kid, I used to go to, like, I live near a port, so there was a lot of protests there about, you know, the moving the animals through live, I can't even remember now, live exports, that was it.
Wow.
I used to go to them when I was a little kid, but
Well, who did you go with?
friends, family, I suppose, I don't know, because it was just around the corner.
Oh,
And you'd get like hundreds of people there, like at
my first
sometimes.
protest. My first protest was with Danny Shine infiltrating the Extinction Rebellion protest.
Really?
Yeah, with his megaphone in it, he's trolling them all. That was my first protest. And then
SJ. Oh,
I
oh.
went with him a few times, and then someone gave me a leaflet uh, to go to a lockdown protest. And I went to my first lockdown protest, and yeah, been doing it ever since.
Mad. COVID-19 protests. Yeah, Trafalgar. I remember the stage in Trafalgar in March 2020, wasn't it? When you had Kate Shemirani, Mark Steele.
No, they weren't then. They weren't
Was that
there.
not then?
They weren't there then. It started small, but
But yeah, they were there at one of the big ones, weren't they?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, at the Trafalgar Square one. Um, was that the see if True Boomer was on? Look, was the first lockdown protest May, March, April, May, something like that.
Shall I get some of your protests up, videos up? Yeah.
In a bit.
In a bit. In a bit.
Let's go to some historical protests first.
Historical.
Yeah. Like the is that the first one? Historical protest. Well, I've got the biggest protest here of 2020 and 2021. That was the Indian farmers protest. Over
Oh wow.
200, yeah, over 250 million people attended the protest.
Fucking hell.
They were protesting because big businesses would dominate the market.
Yeah, it's massive in India though, isn't it?
They were here. I went to a few. I live stream a few farmers, but like 2 or 3 of them I went to.
Yeah, you had the poll tax riots in like the 80s. I have a vague memory of when I was a kid, like it happening.
There was
Just
another
being on
poll
the
tax.
news and stuff.
There was another poll. Well, this is it. The first London protest was about poll tax, unfair taxation, and that protest was called Peasants' Revolt of 1381.
Yeah, I've heard of this one.
And then there was the
Peasants' Revolt.
Corn Laws protest in 1815.
Yeah. Yeah, they were some of the big ones.
Yeah, but the 1381, the Peasants' Revolt of 1381, that was one of the first, or probably the first London protest.
I can remember in maybe the 80s and 90s, Greenpeace used to get on like big like oil tankers and shit, and that was one of their things.
A lot of protests on poll tax.
Then you had the miners' strikes. They were massive, like the riots. I don't really remember that as a kid, but I remember, yeah, when they started closing all the mainly Welsh mines.
George Floyd, Agent X. Oh, look, Matty England says poll tax protests were quite big in the 90s. Well, look, True Boomer says coal miners protests. There was coal miners protests. The socialists.
I think maybe protesting works on a small level, like say you want to protest like a certain company or something in a local area, then it and you get media attention, it works. But the mass like scale ones, I don't know, they just seem to get infiltrated by the government and the media and the police.
Does anyone else know any other historical protests? I got the People's Protest. That was in 1986.
What was that about?
I don't know. I just got it as a bullet point. I've got a few historical protests. The Salt March from 1930. Does anyone know about that?
Rings a bell.
I've also got. Does anyone know the year this happened? The Earth Day protest,
Oh, was that in the 60s?
1970.
To do with like the hippies and that, and the no nuclear movement, and which kind of like was spawned from the Vietnam War and all that sort of thing in the late
Yeah,
60s.
the nuclear war. Is it the Montmorency bus boycott?
Yeah, suffragettes. Greenham Commons protest stop cruise missiles.
Montgomery bus boycott. Was that the nuclear one? I think that was the one. The Baltic Way. 1989.
I used to get involved with Edo, Smash Edo. It's like a local bomb making factory near where I live, and we used to like go and try and stop the people from going to work, sort of thing, and protest through the town.
Yeah.
But we used to like when we'd stop them, a day's like stopping them for a day would cost their business like 2 million a day or something.
Wow.
That's how much money they're making from selling like parts of weapons, mainly to Israel. But after about 8 years, they eventually like ceased business in the UK. So protest does work in certain areas.
Short E says the Tiananmen Square protest. I got that as
Tiananmen
well.
Square.
Tiananmen Square protest. Yeah, I got that
That
as
was
well.
in China.
1989.
You remember that there was a guy in front of a tank. He stood in front of a tank. It's like a world infamous picture. I'll get it up. Yeah. Present. There it is. Yeah, this one.
True Boomer says I went on a yacht to Morro Atoll in the Pacific to stop the French testing nukes. Wow.
Yeah, I remember the French were testing nukes in like the 90s and the early 2000s. I do remember that actually.
Oh,
Blowing
was
it
that
up.
the Tiananmen Square? Was that?
Yeah, that was
that
Tiananmen
day?
Square
I
when the
know that.
guy stood in front of the tank. I think it ran him
Yeah.
over in the end or something, but
No. A couple of guys dragged him away.
But yeah, it was pretty like world famous. A lot. Apparently, the majority of people in China don't even know that it happened because they don't get taught it in school.
Yeah, North Korea, they got nothing. They're restricted left, right, and center.
Yeah.
No faith. They don't even know. Fucking, I've heard some shit come out of there, North Korea, that Kim Jong-un, like even maths. The answer, the North Korean lady that escaped North Korea many years ago, and she's like, now they're teaching kids and telling them that the maths that we got now is a white man's ideology, and they shouldn't follow that way. They should follow, because he portrays himself as a god in that country, or like a supreme being, and
Island God. Yeah.
yeah, and he's made up so many stories. So I don't know if it's true or not, but the mainstream say it, and everywhere else say it that yeah, but with the maths, he says that's a white man ideology. So 1 + 1 is not 2. One raindrop plus another raindrop is equal to a bigger raindrop, and not 2. Yeah.
Lost me.
Yeah, I know. I laughed at when I.
But apparently, China has the most amount of protests in the world. Obviously, because they got the largest population, but they don't protest the government like we do. They protest like the factory managers or whatever. That's how it works in China. Oh, I don't know anymore. It used to be like that because there was no private ownership. But that's
Anonymous says,
changed now.
I don't know. What was that? And what protest was that?
In China, they have like the most amount of protests, and
Oh, right,
they
yeah,
don't protest the government. They protest like the managers and sort of thing. Whereas in the UK, we protest sort of the government to change things. It's different. It's communism, I suppose.
right. Oh, they protest
So
against like the
you can't even
executive of a company.
criticize the government in China.
Yeah, yeah.
Get sent to prison.
There's a lot of them. There's over 1 billion people there in China.
Yeah,
We're not even reaching 100 million, and they've got 1 billion.
yeah. A lot of people.
If we was to fight them, we'll be crushed. They'll just bump us with one step, and that's it. Along their path, just wiped out.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, and on the queue, he says there was a Brighton protest against arms factories. Yeah, I went with
That's the one
Dan.
I used to go.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Smashido. Yeah,
Smashido.
yeah, that's what it was
What?
called. The
Oh,
company was called Edo.
Oh,
Like bomb making company. But it went on for about 7 years or something.
he wants to buy some rocket launchers or some grenades. What
For
about
who?
some drones that drop bombs? What about a helicopter or a tank? He wants to buy a truck. It only takes one man, says Mr. J, to what? Protest.
Where?
Well,
It
I'll
only
give you
takes
one.
one man.
Well, I've been with one man, Danny Shine. He's a loner.
Yeah, look, I got one of your videos up from COVID-19. Do you want to see it?
Let's see it. Don't
Got a
worry, I
few.
won't strike. I won't strike it. Don't worry.
Ain't no strike your own video.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Piers was there. I'll tell you, look, you're playing this video and you're playing it there. Piers was shouting, "Police go home. Police go home."
Please go home. Oh, is it? Can you hear that? Oh
No.
no. Why is the sound not working? But yeah, this was like
It's better if there's no sound because then it'll restrict it to over 18. This is
yeah,
now like
probably.
a 15, a 12A.
Oh
With
shit.
parental guidance.
Have I made it like that? So what was this
That was a
protest
day.
all about then?
No, that's me recording there. I was standing there. It was a live streamer. I had
You're
no
right in the
idea.
middle of like both parties, man.
I had no idea it was gonna turn out like that. I thought it was just gonna be a party in the park sort of thing, and then everyone was gonna go home, and then that happened. Oh, fuck. But you have to remember earlier on during the day, because that's the end of the protest. So at the start of the protest, they marched through London, and they were picking out people left, right, and centre. The police, and then it come to this, and then the
Withered out and died, isn't it? This is where they end the protests.
Yeah,
maybe.
no, there was a lot of people there. There was still a lot of people, and this day was a big day. Um, a lot of people attended that day, in the thousands. There was always thousands of people during the lockdown. Once it got big, there was always thousands of people during the lockdown protests. Now it's died down. Now it's in the 3 digits. Uh, but yeah, this day, wow. What else can I say? So yeah, I was in the park just chilling, thinking it's just music, um, and that's it. The live stream, I had members only live stream that day because I thought it was gonna end, and my new members, I said that I'll do an after live stream of the protest in the Hyde Park, and I did that. So there was only members only allowed to chat as well in the chat. But there was like 500 people watching, 600 people watching, and only 10 people can comment. My channel only had like,
Grows, man. It grows quick.
yeah, it had much less than what it has now. Yeah, that day was crazy. So I thought it was just going to be a party in the park thing, and it turned to this. And I was going to end the stream as well, and it turned to this. I see the police standing in formation, thinking, what's going on now? Why are the police here? So then the live stream continues, and then they go in for the drummer or something, or the musicians, the singers, the what do you call them? The band. They go into the band, yeah, and they try and arrest someone, apparently. Well, that's what I see, them coming out with someone, and everyone surrounds them. You know, there's more, they're outnumbered now. Uh, I don't know if they arrested the gentleman that they got.
I just don't get what this whole thing's all about. Like the whole 2 years. Well, obviously they were trying to quell the resistance or something, but
Well, the tension there was already swinging left and right because it was a lockdown protest, and the protesters were protesting because they didn't want to be locked down, and no authority can get in their way. And police, their authority, you know, authority figures, police, the high wearing bibs, green bibs, high vis wearing police officers. They were angry, and look, this is what happens at protest. People are angry, you know. Their spirits are high. They shine and scream. They got their megaphones out.
oh yeah, look, it got on Sky News. Did it get on Sky News? It's like a 2-second snippet of this video got on Sky News.
Of my footage,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah, you posted the video up, I'm sure. So
I posted this video.
2,
No,
3
nowhere else.
seconds.
Just here. No, I didn't post nowhere. It was just here.
Look, I'll show you. I'll show you.
Yes, show me.
This one.
Oh, that's a fake Sky News. That's fake.
It's fake.
That's all fake. This is a fake video, but the footage is real. That's me.
Yeah, I get you.
But this is fake. It's someone.
You had me going there, man. I thought that was real.
I know that's fake. The Sky News thing is fake. I know that was a fake.
Good.
Someone made this and said Upload. What's that right? And then there was complaints by other streamers saying, "Where's my name in the heading of the title, the thing, the the words that come out? Where's my name in there? You put this guy's name and that guy's name, but you didn't put my name."
See, this one here is a good one. I remember this one. You remember this one?
I've been to a lot of protests, man. Over 300. Not just lockdown protests, like all different kinds of protests.
Yeah, I bet. A lot of protests, man.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, now it's gonna
And
be
they were just grabbing people, weren't they? I remember that day. I think that was like during proper lockdown, wasn't it?
This was one of the first lockdowns. This is how it was when I was out on my own.
28th of November. Yeah, that must have been like during that.
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone, all the streamers come around 2021. Tyrant Finder was probably there. Two Boomers, he started at the start. Those were mad times, man. If you can find, I think I deleted it because I was running in that video in the live stream. I was running, man. There was horses, police horses chasing the crowd, and I had to follow the crowd because everyone was running. So I had to run with them so I don't get crushed and shit like that. And there was police horses chasing us. So I'm running. This was the 5th of November protest during the lockdown. That was crazy, man. And then they did the I think it was the day when they did the kettle and Tyrant Finder was there and he got arrested. I managed to get out of I see the line as they were forming up and I can see that they're trying to make a line and keep everyone in the line. That's what I was assuming anyway. They're gonna keep everyone in the line. So I moved away from them. Yeah, I'm trying to come out of the line now, and they tell me to stop, but then the captain sees and he says, "Stop, come this way, and let everyone go out if they want to go out." So we go out, and then I turn back, just out of the line. And then since then they didn't, and then they formed the line, and then no one can get out. People were trying to get out, and no one could get out once they formed the line. And then and then they stood there, and then after a few hours, what happened? They started arresting everyone. People were pissing on themselves and shit like that. Apparently, they weren't allowed to go to toilets. They weren't allowed nothing.
Yeah, it's shit when they do that.
Two Boomer says, "Don't believe what you hear about China. Remember, the people who reported on COVID, Ukraine, Russia, etc., also tell you about China."
True.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Two Boomers, yeah. Don't believe what you hear about China. So. Hello, Vanished, by the way. Hello, mate. How you doing, mate? How you doing? Good evening to Outlaw King as well, and Sean E, and two boomers. Yeah.
Well, then you got the big one.
Behind that comment.
That was one of the big days.
This was Trafalgar Square, was it? Yes. This was what
September.
date was this?
September.
September
Yeah.
2020. This was probably when what's his name was there? What's his face? David Icke. He was there talking,
Yeah.
speaking. Yeah. This was the first time this happened. Two times it
No,
happened.
this was like there was one in May, I think, weren't there? At Trafalgar.
Oh, yeah, yeah, probably. What happened with this one? Oh, it's
That
someone
ice
else who got
cream,
on bling.
that weird ice cream statue with the fly and the cherry on top. That was weird, man.
Yeah, that was
Always
there. That was a little monument in London, a
yeah.
tourist attraction. Oh yeah, it wasn't. I could have had perfect picture if I wasn't using like this is perfect picture now. Um, but you know the Hyde Park, I was
Yeah.
using I was using YouTube's live stream service, and it's not very good, you know. Now I'm using Streamlabs. I'm getting the same quality as I am if when I'm just recording on my phone like this. This I wasn't live streaming now. This is all like pre-recorded.
Oh, okay. It just goes on and on.
Yeah, I wasn't live streaming back then. I was complaining with YouTube. I'm over 1,000 subscribers and I can't live stream. And I didn't know
Do you
about
get a
streaming.
rush though? Like, do you get a rush being sort of like not on the front line, but in the middle of the front line of both like the police and the protesters?
Well, now I'm at the back, you know. I've been at the front,
Yeah.
so I know what it's like being at the front. I know what it's like being at the middle. So I'm at the back now. I'm getting a wide shot of everything. Uh, I don't know, man. Being at the front, being at the back, being in the middle. Look, I like shots like this instead of
Just watching
having.
everyone. Yeah, it's cool, man. And then you can speed it up or something.
Yeah, yeah. This one lasted for like half an hour or something, isn't it? Yeah, one of the one lockdown protests that had over 1 million people attend. I went to the start of the protest to the very end, like this. It might have been this one. It lasted like over half an hour, 40 minutes. People were still walking, and they were holding. A lot of them were holding banners, so you know they were there for the protest and not just people walking from the road. But at the time, everything was closed, so there wouldn't have been many people on the road anyway.
Would have been hard to get there from around the country, I suppose.
Now, buses were still working.
Yeah.
Yeah, travel was still working. Those were essential jobs, isn't it? Key working positions. I was a key worker as well, you know. And then when I weren't working, I was out with Danny Shine, or then I started doing the protests, and I was every week I was at the protests. and then for like 2 years, I used all my holidays for the process.
Yeah. It's weird though.
Yes,
You
guys.
can look back on it all now.
Yeah,
Mad times, eh?
yeah. A lot of the times I was smoking, so I was like on the moon watching, or while it all happened.
So look, you got like police infiltration. Have you heard of stuff like spy cops?
Of spy cops,
A thing called
we
spy
did,
cops.
someone did mention this on our previous live stream about
Yeah.
this. Yeah, spy
And
cops.
how the police for years and years, like decades, have been infiltrating all the sort of protest movements like environmentalism and animal rights and against the government, stuff like that. And there was even like cases of like agents, they were having like children with like people just to infiltrate like big networks. It's crazy.
Wow. Hold on a second. Hold on. So you're saying the government hired agents like MI5, MI6,
And the
what are the
police,
other
yeah,
ones?
mainly the
Um,
police, like the what they call Scotland Yard.
Scotland Yard. I got a story here on my notes. It happened in the 80s or 90s. Where is it? Police
And it was
infiltration.
revealed in 2016, basically.
Oh, I didn't write the year down. The UK sent undercover cop John Kerry anti-nuclear campaign. Yeah, the anti-nuclear campaign. They sent over 20 undercover agents,
Yeah, that would have been one of the movements that they infiltrated.
and went on for years.
Like even did Labour, like members of Labour, mainly like the left sort of
Here we
socialist.
go. We've got a guest at the back.
Got a guest at the
Um,
back.
let's put two fingers up, please.
I've shared the screen, the picture as well. So I'll
Now,
put that
can
up
you
if
put
you
your
want.
middle finger up at me, please? Just flip me off.
If you want to put the poster up.
Yes. Okay. Should we have the camera on or off? Up to you. Thumbs up for a camera on, thumbs down for no camera. Or just switch it off. All right. Yeah. Thumbs up. Let's bring him on. Hello.
Hello.
Let's take the comment off. We can see the names. Anonuku. Hello. Good evening, sir.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you. Sound and clear. 5 times 5.
CHIS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how you doing, Anonuku? Oh, he's gone.
Apparently quite a lot of officers, or actually 5 officers, were in long-term intimate relationships with like some of these people and had children with them and that.
Yeah, wow.
Man.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So the UK government sent these 20 or more agents into protests and into their communities, and to find out more information, they married the female or male protesters, had kids with them, all for getting more information about the nuclear protest,
Yeah,
anti-protest. Wow.
that's deep, isn't it? That they'd go to that sort of lengths just to
That's
control like the narrative.
Evening.
Crazy shit.
Hello.
Evening. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello, Ananaku.
How you doing, guys?
Good
Good,
man. How
good.
are
Thank
you?
you.
Interesting show. Interesting show. I've been to a few
Uh,
protests in my
Yes.
time, from Greenham Common onwards to protests in Brighton, Edo protests, Shoreham protests for the veal exports. Don't know if you remember
Yeah,
that.
that's the one I used to go to when I was a little kid.
Yeah, I've been to those. I bet we've met each other.
Possibly, yeah. I think we've spoke on a live stream before about this. Yeah.
Yeah, this actually subject comes in well into your police infiltration subject, which is what I jumped on to talk about.
Yes.
I was involved with the animal rights groups back in the 90s.
Oh.
The Animal Liberation Front was very heavily infiltrated, and the copper got a protester pregnant and had kids with her and had a family while he was living undercover.
No.
And I always thought if they went to that depth of going undercover,
Yeah.
for the animal rights, they're going to go even deeper for our lot, for the freedom protests, for the anti-COVID,
Right.
and etc. And they've been practicing it. They've been doing it for years. You know, I mean, they were undercover in the IRA in the 70s. There was all sort of undercover stuff. I mean, the British government has had a lot of experience of this. So we know that there's going to be undercover, Old Bill, Brigade 77, call them what you want,
77
in the protest
yeah.
movement. And they're going to be streamers who are Old Bill.
Sure.
And there are going to be
There have been
people in the
rumors.
chats and moderators who are Old Bill.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
And
I've
I've
noticed it.
been looking for them since the very beginning of this.
Yeah.
I've been keeping a very careful eye, and I've outed one or two.
Good.
Caused a bit of a stir last Sunday, I think, on a stream, because I just asked a question, a very simple question in the chat. And the question was, I don't know if everybody read the question I asked, was, I wonder if any of the panel, there was 8 people in the panel, are members of Brigade 77 or Old Bill. And somebody went loony, called me a cunt and everything, really got upset. It was, you know, really threw the rattle out of the pram.
It's
not very ladylike at all.
It's the angry ones that you got to watch out for.
I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'd seen that person, I watched that person for 3 years, and I'd seen them make many mistakes.
Any other names?
The other one that came up and was a streamer, Owen.
Oh, yes.
He disappeared after a while.
AgeCase
I spoke to him. I met him on a couple of occasions and spoke to him personally. And what was about him was his politics didn't fit what he was doing.
AgeCase knows Owen Media Consumer 911 better than I do. I got introduced to all of these guys.
He just appeared in our circle.
Yeah. I got
invited. It's coincidence that he fitted the description of the guy in Bristol who got done for arson because Owen got arrested, which gave him a sudden plausibility. And then his long stay at lockdown. Collected a lot of information on a lot of people.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people at that lockdown thing, wasn't there?
Yeah, I see. I think I see. You can point it out in the videos, in the live streams. Who is what and what is what.
There was in that video you showed a little earlier.
Yeah,
there was a
Hyde Park.
very big guy with a ponytail, with a plaited ponytail.
How
Big
big guy?
And he's a suspect chap.
He's a
He one
security
moment
guard.
he's egging the crowd on, and then the next thing he's defending the police. But the person I outed last Sunday, or who outed herself, she finally let her go because she was a moderator in all the streams, in the protest streams, in the protest movement.
Sure.
Yet she was a double-jabbed pro-vax person.
Well, I'll tell you something. Hold on.
Very strange that somebody could be double-jabbed and yet partake in our side.
Anonymous, hold on a second now.
Yeah.
You
She
don't
told
know
me herself that.
I'll tell you my story. So I'm now becoming a moderator on all of the live streams of the streamers. And because of one person, I'll put in the back chat. Oh, we've got a picture here by Age. What's this movement? The Illuminatis.
Illuminatis. No, it's just about the spy cops. What was you saying anyway? Maybe you were saying something.
Do you know that name?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I heard that name.
Yeah. So yeah. We've got another guest at the back. Can we put 4 fingers up this time, please? And now can we put 1 middle finger up at me, please? You need 1 more. I can't let you on it if it's not 1 more. That's it. Okay, good. Okay, so we're gonna put it on now. Yes, 3, 2, 1. Hello, Mellows. Got eyes on the audit. Yes, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, mate.
Oh,
Hi,
we got eyes on the audit. What do you call it? An echo.
A bit of an echo. Hi, mate.
Oh,
That's cool, man. I love it when it does that. That's cool, man. I love it when it does that.
So I've muted eyes on your audit, and I'm sure it's coming for you. When you're ready, you can unmute yourself.
Sorry, bro. You know what that was? I played the video on Discord. I didn't even realize the thing was playing over there.
I had the same problem, or similar problem when I first came on.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at my tab and I'm thinking, I've got no other tab open, man. What's going on? If the video's playing on Discord, it started playing over there when you posted it.
So yeah, protests.
Yeah, I've been to a few.
Which ones have you been to?
I did a Million Mask. 2014.
Yeah. Oh, 2014. Well, I was 14 years old. No, 24
I got my head cracked open. Me and my friends, we got beaten up. We were just sitting down. Some of the crowd was singing away, and then they, the usual tactic where they light the police car up. That was somewhere.
How many people attended?
There was quite a few of us back then. I can't remember exactly, but it was busy. It was a good protest.
Yeah.
But we weren't giving up. We weren't going home. We were just chilling. We were there for the whole night, and they just wanted to clock out and go home, and they were getting really upset with us. So they lit a car on a light, their usual tactics, and then they moved in on us and beat the fuck out of us while we were just sitting there.
They did what? Put a car alight.
Yeah, they lit up a car and blamed it on the protesters. Obviously, that's their tactic. They light up their cars. They park an old beat up car somewhere, light it, make sure that there was a camera on it. Conveniently, mainstream media videoed it, and then they moved in on the crowd and beat the fuck out of us. And
Yeah.
me and my friend barely got out of there, man. I mean, kettling everybody, arresting everybody. Yeah.
They still use that the sacrificial van tactic, don't they?
Yeah, they think we're stupid. We know their games.
When I went to the Oxford protest a few weeks ago, I was going up to the coppers there, and I said, "Could you tell me where the sacrificial van is?" I said, "I'm looking for the van with the old number plates, the one that we can set fire to later. Do you know where it is?" And they would tell me, "That's not funny."
Have you got another video, Age?
What of?
Like another protest video we can examine for 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Or maybe put the
Yours.
video back on of the Hyde Park video, and Anoniki can point out. I'll point out one person as well to you, 1 or 2 people. Let's get rid of these comments. So hello, Mellows. Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you? How are you?
Not too bad. I got sciatica, and I can when I'm walking, I can feel my muscle right at the bottom of my toe, well, not
That's
toe of my foot. So when I stretch it, I can just I can feel it now, like from my hip all the way down to my foot.
Yeah, I'm no stranger to that.
I got a few weeks off from work, and I booked an appointment to see the GP 2 days ago, and I have to wait a month, 24 days for the appointment.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a comment on something that somebody posted in your chat. I can't remember who it was. Something about the Covert Human Resource Act.
Where's this? Is it a new comment? I'm still.
I think
Agent X, is it?
Agent X, probably, yeah.
Vanish says apparently Owen is a mod for citizenship now. Is that the comment?
No. It was Agent X. She said something about the Covert Intelligence, Human Intelligence Act or some shit. That's exactly what I wanted to bring to light. The legislation actually allows them to basically get away with crime. They're immune from prosecution from things like rape, torture, and even murder. And those words were actually used in the bill.
So what you're saying is go to a protest and just stab someone.
So an agent, whatever his reason, could do these things to people, to the public, and it would be immune from prosecution because he's authorized to. Some crazy shit, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, mad.
And they included what was concerning, disturbing to me is they included words like rape, torture, and murder. And I thought, whoa, what are you protecting yourselves from, man? I mean, what are they?
I didn't know this. I have to research this all.
Yeah, I actually put a little.
You need to post some stuff. You're in my Discord. You need to post some stuff.
This was a few years ago. There was a little petition going around trying to get people to sign it, but didn't go anywhere. These people, they do what they want when they want. This is evident. I mean, the past few years.
I read almost 97% of everything that's shared.
And I also remember that Tony Blair in the protest, the war, That was the largest protest I've ever been to as well. I've ever seen. You know, I used to live in London at the time. It was just crazy.
Which protest? The Iraq protest.
Iraq war, yeah.
2003, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went on that march.
You
son
couldn't
was-
avoid it. If you was in London, you could not avoid it. I was actually working in London at the time in the city.
I was still a kid, so I didn't know nothing. I didn't know about
Yeah.
it.
Well, you know, this guy, the people protested. This guy, he took us into an illegal war over false pretenses. He lied to us. He has been tried and convicted a war criminal, and he's still roaming around, barking orders and giving people advice and guidance and whatever nonsense. He still gets paid millions of pounds to talk at OPEC for some reason.
Yeah.
And the guy's a criminal. The guy is a, you know, tried and convicted war criminal. You know, this guy should be, you know, hanging on the end of a rope at the very least, be rotting in jail. But they did it anyway. We had a protest. The protests don't work. Protest, if anything, they're prepared for them, and they spin them in their favor. I don't know if you guys ever remember the protest with the young kids who were protesting against the tuition fees, the extortionate tuition fees that they were trying to roll out. Right?
Yeah.
And that evening the police got really heavy-handed. They rolled in with the horses. They beat the crap out of little kids, man, right? And a lot of the kids ended up critically or even fatally injured by the police. But the very next day, it was Prince Charlie got attacked by the mob, the yob, and they spun it all. For some reason, this knobhead decided to jump into his car and drive right into a protest, and they attacked the car, and then they spun it in the newspaper the very next day. I don't know if you guys remember that. Bonnie he got attacked by the mob, you know. So the next day, instead of having, because I know a nurse who actually worked in North Middlesex Hospital at the time, where they rushed.
That's the
these
hospital
kids.
that I was born at. Yes.
Yeah. They rushed these kids who got brutally assaulted by the police, right, to the hospital, right? And instead of the news media announcing, you know, how the police were heavy-handed and using excessive force, no, it was how these kids who were protesting in these extortionate fees, how they were yobs, and look at them, and the media went frenzy about how they attacked Prince Charlie and all this crap. Oh God, it annoyed the shit out of me when it happened, man. This was back. This was a few years back as well. Was that in 2010? Can't remember.
I was 20 years old in 2010.
Yeah, protests, they don't work. We thought, especially now, they're prepared for them. We're playing at their game. We're playing into their hands. You know, like they've created this new law where you've got to ask for permission. You know, how the hell, right? We're going to pretend to live in a free country where we've got to ask for permission to complain about our government. I mean, that's so stupid, right? It's so stupid.
I know.
The whole point of protesting, right, is, you know what I mean? You don't ask permission to protest.
What you're saying is, what happens is if we lose our right to protest, then what happens? You know.
We can't, you know what? If we lose our right to protest, it becomes
the public opinion
a communist country.
We're just prisoners.
We become a communist dictatorship, right? No longer a free democratic country, right? It's as simple as that. King Charlie serves our pleasure, right? He's supposed to be protecting and keeping our peace, right? His minions on the street, when they fail, he's the one that's captain the ship. He's the one that's failed, right? And then he goes and approves a law like that, where he gives them almost immunity from stupid shit like murder and rape and torture and what kind of nonsense laws are these, man? And we're supposed to pretend that we're living in a free country. Why don't you just do away with the pretense, man, and just tell me how it is? You know, this is a dictatorship. We don't have a choice. When was the last time any of us voted anyway? right? Nobody votes. They get selected in secret, and then we get the pretending vote, right? How do you know who voted, how many votes you can? We just listen to
Well,
them.
these are
How many, you know?
Meadows. This is all conspiracy now. What you're
We're
saying
not
is
supposed to
conspiracy.
trust these people who we know notoriously have lied to us every day for the rest or for our entire life. And we're supposed to trust how many votes that we count that they counted. We're supposed to trust that these people that lie to us all day long, right? When they get into positions of power, right? That they're gonna do what they say they're gonna do, because then we know that they don't. And how are we gonna sit here and pretend that
Okay, let me
by
ask
voting
the chat.
Labour, all this is gonna change?
Look, Meadows, let me ask the chat. The guys in the chat, the 19 of you in the chat, how many of you have voted and you've got your vote?
Should be, the
What
name
about
should
you
be changed
guys?
to
None.
consenting to be dictated to. You know, I'm voting for your oppressor. I'm going to vote for your oppressor. I'm going to vote for your dictator, right? Your dictator. I don't like your dictator. I prefer my dictator. I want my dictator to dictate over all of us. You know how nonsense is that? We're going to bring in this knob, Mr. Sakir Starmer, who was at the time the head of the Crown Prosecution Service, who decided it was not in the best interest of the public to prosecute Jimmy Savile when he was alive. And this is the guy that we're gonna trust to lead the country. What kind of nonsense is that, man?
Yeah,
Wake the hell up.
I know. Look, AgeCase, we've got AgeCase here with a video. Anonymous, I bet he's
Yeah.
been waiting for this. He's been silent this whole time.
There's that guy with
Yeah.
a ponytail you were saying.
Oh yeah, look, can you go back a little bit? Go to the bit where you started before. You know when you started the video the first time, go back, yeah. Okay, we could wait a little bit. Is that the fullest you can put it?
Yeah.
Oh, let me make it full screen. Let's get rid of these. Oh yes, look, that's better. Cheers for that age. So who we've got here? Does anyone know? Oh, we've got Piers Corbyn here. Do you think he's an agent provocateur?
Oh, he's definitely and a sellout as well.
Seller.
He got
He's been
caught
placed. He's
taking
been
a
placed.
fake bundle.
Yeah.
He's been placed in the organisation because he's not a leader, is he?
No, that's right.
He's a sellout.
Okay, so this drug
And
guy
he's got links to Corbyn as well. So it was like they were trying to
Enter Boris.
bring Corbyn down at the same time as use his brother as like some
He's got links to
wacko
Boris as well.
conspiracy theorist.
Him. This one.
That's the fat guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
pause it, Age, pause it for a sec. That fat guy you're talking about, he's the hugs guy.
He was around a lot.
Yeah, he was at all the protests.
Yep.
The other day, I was searching online, and I come across his one of his social media accounts.
One time he's winding up the crowd, then the next thing he's protecting the police. When the police were outnumbered, he protected them.
Oh, yeah, no, I'll show you now. I'll show you. I'll tell you where to stop it, Age. Keep going. Okay, so stop it. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You know the guy in the red, white hat?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was an agent provocateur, undercover.
They will often wear something striking
Yes,
that picks them out, so that they'll tell the police, look out for
sure. Easy to find, easy to see.
normally a
Yeah,
carrier bag,
yeah, yeah.
often a
So I
carrier
think
bag.
my chosen ones are something of the sort, you know. If you watch the video, this is a video. What is it called, Age? The Battle of Hyde Park.
What the
This is
police
where
trying to do?
they wanted
Oh,
to get the equipment from Jam for Freedom.
yeah.
That was their goal, was to try to seize the equipment.
Oh, that's it. Seize the equipment. That's it.
Yes,
That's
that's
what
what
they
they
were trying to do.
were intending to
Right.
do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, look who it is.
Oh, look, grave leader, Marco. What do you
Well,
guys think?
Marco's all
How
right. I
long
mean,
pause it there? Pause it for a
Marco's
sec.
fairly harmless, isn't he?
No, but have you watched John Overkill? What do you think? So his like police infiltration, COVID-19 protests, John Overkill. Um, what else can he do?
It was great leader. He was there again at the protest. That's what was John Overkill.
John Overkill was another sort of just a what?
I, I
I don't
spoke
know if
to
he was
all
a
of the
paranoid
guys.
individual, but
I spoke to
I
all
think
of
he
the
was
guys
wrong on a lot of stuff.
that he mentioned on his channel. I spoke to most of them, and I thought something was fishy with some of them.
Yeah, there was definitely Sam was. I question who Sam was. Subject access.
Well, I'll tell you something. I posted it in my Discord the other day. You should go and watch it. It's on one of the tabs of Owen Media Consumer 911 on
Yeah,
a live stream. Doing some sort of hand signal as a vehicle was passing by. You couldn't really see the vehicle. Uh, that sign, somebody looked it up, was a Masonic sign. Yeah. For like 3 seconds, 2 seconds, he had the sign up. And then he took it down and he continued talking to someone that I know. I can probably, if I see him, I don't see him much at the protest, but if I ever do, I'll probably ask him about that day, as I see it on the live stream and I see him on the live stream, the video. Yes, so yeah, the guy in the white hat. When you watch the video back, you will see there's something fishy about him.
the undercover people can't help but be larger than life. They like to stand out.
Oh, look, there's immortal aliens in the white hat. I was gonna say, the color white might represent something in this.
But then there was people saying that they wear red hats in it or something. There was that
Well,
going
the
on.
red hat is the Trump hat, isn't it? So the MAGA hat is traditionally a red hat. So that's a hat that's going to be worn by some people in this group, because some of them are at the beginning, at least, were followers of Trump.
Some of the live streamers as well. I don't know, and they're a bit fishy. Like you said, subject access. But
I mean,
I've
Tyrone
seen,
Finder said a lot of things about subject access, as how he would follow
you
him
know,
around and sort of be waiting at the station with a cup of coffee and wanting to know how he was going to do this and what he was going to do and how he was.
I
There was
was
a
on
lot
a
of sort of funny stuff.
I was on a live stream the other day, and someone asked me a question. Um, what happened to all the live streamers? Like nobody goes out. It's just me and the young ones.
There's no money in it anymore, is there?
So the story is that Subject Access and Owen Media Consumer, they were furloughed, so they were bored, and they decided to watch a few YouTube live streams of going ons in London, and then they see me and Tyrant Finder, and they thought, oh, this is interesting. There's no one else doing it. Let's do it as well. And then now they're back at their jobs.
Convenient.
I went because it was interesting. These people protesting. No, I really went for the content. Look at this. We're talking about it now. That history. Can you call this history?
Yeah, I suppose. Of course. It was like a 2 years of fucking bullshit, wasn't it?
I don't know
There's
what
that guy with a white hat.
Yeah, I keep watching him because I see something fishy.
It's hard to know if we did actually make a difference or not, because you can't know what would have happened if we hadn't have protested.
Well, yeah, the government think they can do what they want.
Well, I think they had money already set aside, like years in advance, so they knew there'd be protests. So they,
Of
they
course
even-
they did. They would have been. It's naive to believe that they didn't.
no.
It would be naive to believe they didn't. So definitely worth. They would have invested heavily in this, and they would have put people in place a year before, or used people who were involved in other protests.
Well, I didn't see much of these the protests headlined any major news outlet.
No, the
No,
media
it won't
didn't. There's that guy again, right in the middle there, just under that camera.
He's always and you know this guy, the guy talking, he seems drunk, but I think he's a copper. So he's just trying to. The people at the front, I don't know, maybe him, the fat guy, who knows? Yeah. So what I was saying, Anna McHugh, the fat guy, with a ponytail, I come across his social media the other day, and it seems to me by the pictures that I see that he's a security officer. That he could be in the special forces, you know. But this is all conspiracy, YouTube. Don't worry. Don't believe anything we say, guys. Look, there's Tyrant Finder.
Where? Didn't see.
Tyrant Finder, he's a very resourceful guy. He's a good guy, man. Yes, he knows a few stories. You know,
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah, I like Tyrone.
one fake. Look, police infiltration.
There's
This is
Haiku Ku. Is Haiku Ku in it? No, it's not. It looks like it, but it's not.
during the lockdown. No, during the protests. You know, I was there. I was a lone wolf.
Will.
and I was going to all of them, live streaming them, and people were wondering who I was. So they were trying to make friends with me. I remember they're trying to make friends with me, but I was a lone wolf. I was just there for my own purposes, you know. I'm impartial. I'm there just reporting, maybe getting some footage, and show the world what's going on.
Oh fuck.
What was I saying? Sorry. Just waffling now.
Waffle.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, a fake story was made about me during the protests. I was called a name, Anonymous or Melos, or even Age Case. You guys might know this name. It's called Arc 191. You know this name? Are you familiar with this name?
No.
Well, I was made up to be this person, and obviously I'm not. And it was fake. And the people coming up to me during protests and saying, "Oh, are
Oh
you
yeah, I
this guy?"
remember now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I was on a live stream, and one guy come up to me, and you can hear it on the live stream, and he's like, "Oh, I read a story that you're this guy." I'm like, "I'm not this guy." And he's like, "No, I'm not. I'm gonna fuck you up and this and that." I'm like, "No, you're not going to do that because I'm not this person." And he's like, "Yes, I'm going to." And luckily he didn't, because I was there chilling. I see someone else, another YouTuber, and he said, "Hello, let's chill." So I said, "Okay." So we were chilling with him and on the grass, and I can see the guy that confronted me just looking at us. That was funny. Um, yeah, and then eventually the story came out that I wasn't him, and a few years later, a few weeks later, a few weeks ago now, someone told me that it was the Tommy Robinson crew that made that story about me, fake story, because
Yeah, something to do
firstly,
with that, wasn't it?
yeah, firstly they were worried about what I was intending on doing, you know, while I was there. Uh, what was the other reason? I don't know. They were probably scared for some reason, and they made a fake story about me. Yeah, and then it come out. Anonymous or HK, or even Mellows, you guys might know this YouTuber or so-called journalist. He reports at the Dover protests a lot, immigration. He goes by the name of Steve Laws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
No.
wrote the story saying that I was this person.
Oh, was it him?
Yeah,
Ooh.
and I spoke to him over the phone, and I told him to his face, "I'm not this person. My footage was stolen, yeah, and made up to be portraying me as this person." And so he apologized, and he put out a message saying, "I'm sorry," and he named me as well. I'm sorry to local experimentalists that I mentioned that he was this person. He's not this person. I spoke with him, la 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 la. And he said at the bottom, it's actually another person. So they're just going through through names. And yeah, just a joke, man. What was that? Was that police infiltration?
Yeah, I think so. We've gone through them, haven't we? I've got another screen. Share this screen quick a minute. I think this was today in Paris.
Oh yes, we've got the French protest. What are
Yeah,
they actually voting for? Are they, I mean, protesting about? Is it because
pensions.
of the age limit? Is that the only reason?
No,
Oh,
that was the straw
constant.
that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been
That,
going
that
on since like
that's
November.
the publicised reason.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're fed up with everything.
since
What do you mean?
2019, it's been going on. These protests every
They don't
weekend.
give a shit. Proof, yet again, they don't work. I mean, what more proof do you need? You know, like the
How?
definition of insanity, right, is to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yeah,
We must be insane. Population, mass psychosis. This is basically people are properly.
Hello, cheeky. Yes.
it's just unorganized like anger, really, isn't it? I suppose
It's insane.
they need to target buildings. I think, but like every single one of these people go there because just fighting in the street doesn't do anything. It just
Come on, the public needs to get involved. Look, there's only what 12 of them, and they're bodied up. If there was like 50 of you, just two lines of 10 or two lines of 30.
They're prepared. They're prepared for rioting. They're prepared. I mean, look, this has been going on for how long now, right? Paris is on fire. It's been on fire. No one cares. It's because the media is not doing their job and holding them accountable. You know, not keeping them in check. So they own the media. They spin whatever nonsense they
Look
want,
at the officer, he's down. You still got him.
and just deny that millions of people are protesting in the street over some ridiculous law that they just.
Look, one went for him. Look, another. Look, they're
These
not
people,
arresting.
when will these people realize, right, that they work for us? We're not their serfs. We don't serve them. They don't own us.
Oh,
They
no,
work for us. We're the boss.
yeah.
We pay their wages. They just got it into their heads that they get to rule us. You know what I mean? We don't live in those dark ages anymore. We don't have tyrants and rulers. You serve our pleasure. If you're not doing a good job, out. Next person. Right? These people work for us, man. They're doing a shit job. They need to get the sack. It's as simple as that. They fucked up. How many times?
This is the problem. I don't like.
But if we would have kept I suppose if we would have kept the momentum going from COVID, this is what the protests in England would be like now.
It could have. It could have. I'll tell you
But
something.
that's why they've infiltrated those groups, right? And they led the groups, so they led them straight down the toilet, right? That's what they do. It's like the Pied Piper,
Walk people around London.
Yeah. Sponsored walk.
It's probably quite hard to infiltrate the French ones, though, isn't it? Because there's so many people there. I'm sure they do infiltrate the big groups, but
I don't know, man. French, it just seems like they ain't taking no shit this time, man.
they never have, though, really.
No,
If
they
you
haven't.
get whacked, then
Look when they came in with those banned cigarette smoking in pubs and stuff, right? Over here in the UK, we was like, yeah, okay, no problem. Yeah, sounds all right, reasonable. In France, they said, fuck you, we're doing all the fuck we want, you know what I mean? They couldn't enforce it over there. They tried, but it didn't work. So I think we're just more compliant over here. We just want to get along and we're just nice and polite for the most part, until you piss us off. But fucking, when's that point? When's that point going to get to that? When are we going to get to that point where everyone's pissed off? I think, they ripped us off with this energy crisis, right? And nobody blinked. Ripped us off with the fake vaccine crisis, right? and nobody blinked. I mean, it's like it's just forever, isn't it? You just keep pulling the wool over our eyes and have the media talk about some nonsense. Oh, look, there's a spy balloon. Oh, look, there's there's an alien, and then change the subject and nobody cares. Right? Everyone wants to go on with their little lives. It's just I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but
Che-
people need to wake up.
Cheeky, cheeky spy, he says, or she says, they don't work for us though. They work for the corporation called government. It's nice to see them fighting back. Yes.
Well, the definition is they, whether you like it or not, they're going to get paid, right, their salary from your taxes, right? So my
And
definition, they're
if I
working
was
for me, man.
if I
They're
was
working for me.
organizing a protest, oh man, it would be so violent.
They're literally their job, their duty is to protect and serve the public, right? They got a duty to make sure that people don't abuse the law, right? Don't violate other people's rights. Don't do. But they've decided, no, let's just worry about corporations, right? Because that's where all our money comes from at the end of the day. Even though we paying them, our money only really contributes to their petty cash, right? Because the amount of money that these people shove down their throats while they're in power, right? They award themselves because they've got insider trading, right? They get themselves shares into, and these BioNTech, and they buy £600,000, and they're so bold as they'll go on live TV and boast about how many shares they own in BioNTech, and then 4 years later, oops, he's just made a killing, right? There's no insider trading there. There's no conflict of interest at all. No, like these are not the droids you're looking for, right? Look, I'm stupid and I can't see the facts right in front of my face. It's an insult. It's an insult to the public. It's an insult to everybody who's got half a decent brain.
Yeah. I want to ask Mrs. J something. She says in the comments, can Ocon video 19 will cost us and our grandchildren 10p a day for the rest of our lives? What are you on about? I have no idea.
COVID.
COVID is going to cost us.
Oh,
Instead
COVID.
of con video, she's put COVID.
COVID was
Let's
the catalyst, right? That basically
let's put
solved everything
C19.
else. This is just another excuse for government to put their hand in the public's purse and take. So every year they're ever expanding, growing ever more powerful, stripping away even
Stealing the
more
people's
rights,
wealth. Yeah.
stealing all your wealth. Now they had this criminal war in Ukraine where they were funding a coup and whatever nonsense that they're going on about over there, right? So our billions of pounds, right, that we've had to so even though they gave us this money, right, to contribute towards the rising cost of energy, this money's coming straight out of our purse anyway. I mean, it's not like it's coming out of their pocket. So we're going to pay for it. So sooner or later, the taxes, they're going to go shooting up out of the roof. We've got no jobs because they're all being automated. And then, everyone's going to be a protest. No wonder why they're building all these giant mega prisons all over the place, because that's where they're going to stick us. And those odd few are going to slip through the net. They're going to end up getting shipped to Rwanda. Do you know what I mean? Whether you got a passport, whether you're born in this country or not, it's irrelevant. At that point, you're going to be at the end of a corrupt official who doesn't give a shit, and he's just going to put you through the system, and the system's going to spit you out in Rwanda. All right.
Mrs. J, I looked at your results earlier, and 70% to 90% is up to 24 hours missing. Is the figures. So between 70 and 90% is up to 24 hours.
Between 10% and 30% is enough to satisfy the elites with their need for adrenochrome, etc., I expect.
Yeah.
How many children have gone missing? No one wants to talk about. Right? We're up to nearly 500,000, right? In such a short space of time. Children in the UK, man. No one gives a shit. No one wants to
Well,
talk.
I've been protesting with Danny
Kids
Shine
literally
about
being
it.
abducted off the street and no one wants to talk about it. The videos have been suppressed on Facebook. Why are they suppressing these videos on Facebook? Because they're not in the public's interest. They are in the public's interest. Very much so. Thank you very much.
They're
Well,
not in the elite's interest. They're not in the interests of the elite. That's the problem.
You know?
well, there is a solution, and that was what me and Danny Shine were doing, saying to wear a condom.
Maybe the politicians should wear a few more condoms. We need less of those. I think the problem here, right, is evident for everybody to see, but no one wants to talk about the big fat element that's just suddenly died in the room, right? This government that we have is totally corrupt, and you can't expect to change
Yeah.
this government into fix
We
anything
won't.
until you change the government.
We
Right?
we have to laugh about it and just
Yeah,
carry on.
you can't. It's impossible to fix anything because the same people who are gonna that you're
This is
demanding
why,
for them to fix are
Mellow,
the same people that broke it. So they're just gonna make a
Mellow,
meal of it and mess it up.
Mellows, Mellows,
Yeah.
this is why, yeah, because you exactly said it. Because of this reason, I embrace maybe living in a 15-minute city, and I start thinking of the benefits of, instead of the negatives. I think more of the benefits of something new that's coming out, you know,
It's
Hi,
not that big a
Cheeky.
deal.
Hope you're well.
like 15-minute cities, you know. I'm trying to see it in a positive light than negative.
There is no positive in a 15-minute city. It's just an open prison, man. Anybody that's trying to
Well,
see something positive out of
but
it,
like you said, we can't do nothing about it. We just have to
well,
carry on,
it doesn't mean that I have to go
work and
quietly.
close our eyes and carry on.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that I have to be quiet, go quietly about it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to be quiet about
Yeah,
it.
I know. But when it comes up, when I'm
I
doing
will
my
resist
research,
with every breath that I take, and I encourage others to follow
you
suit.
know, when I'm doing my research,
Foam
and
spray
I'm
from
looking
Full
at
Station
stuff,
at
I'm
6.99.
looking, there's that 70% positive now instead of 70% negative. I'm now looking at more lighter than darker. Yeah.
Look, you know, it serves their purpose that we all sit here and we're contemplating how it's impossible and there's no way we can do this and it's this, that, and the other because it's just boosts their ego. And the truth is, right? We're
Yeah.
literally one idea from flipping this whole thing around on its head. Just
Yeah,
one
yeah.
idea. Yeah.
Sure.
I, you know, I got to be optimistic about this. I'm hopeful. You know, I think only because eventually all rotten fruit falls. Right? It's notoriously known in history. You know, every tyrant, you know, has his day, and I believe yeah, that for the most part, most people are good, and even those who are misguided right now, eventually will see their errors in their ways, and I think eventually this ultimate plan of theirs, once enough people have been, their lives have been totally destroyed and wiped out, and people start to realize the extent of the damage that these people have caused. I think that's when we will, you know, fight back or begin to fight back. But these protests, they don't work. You know, yeah, scream and shout all you want, but you're playing into their hands. They're prepared for this. They've literally did rehearsals where they did simulations on how people react and so on. And you know, and with this new AI technology
Yeah, I
that
know they have experiments with animals, with humans, with everything.
yeah, well, they've even done you know, far more extensive research and technology, for instance, the AI technology, they have the ability to predict.
I like AI technology.
Yeah.
That's something I have to speak. I have to say something about AI technology. In the making right now, we're gonna have a live stream dedicated to talking to an AI robot on
Okay,
live
man,
stream.
I've got to tell you something. The more you mess with that AI and the more you help train it, the more you are helping the AI to become sentient, right? The more you do that, the more you are.
So there's billions of us. There's billions of people doing it.
You're training it to take over your jobs, to take over all your, basically, you're literally training the.
Remember what I said though, Mellows. I said I'm looking more into a positive light now
Hmm.
than negative.
Sorry, man.
So
I just
AI,
think people should know the
I have
dangers
to
of
embrace
AI, man.
it,
It's not a good thing.
I have to imagine and theorize about future. But this is when it comes to the last bullet point, future protests. What is future protests gonna look like?
Hmm.
What are we gonna be protesting about in the future? Are we still gonna be protesting about taxation and poll tax?
It depends. I mean, while we're before pre-communist state or after the communist state, because I believe we're heading towards a communist state, right? It's in the making.
Authoritarian, isn't it? Or
Yeah,
technocratic.
we're already authoritarian, but I
We
think
might be protesting
they're
for the
gearing
right
us
to be
to.
able to buy bread and water if we're
Yeah, I
unjabbed.
think they're gearing us into a war we cannot win, where we would face, on the one side we would face total annihilation, on the other side we would face surrender and into some sort of authoritarian dictatorship, communist state. We would be surrendering to the Chinese.
Not a data-driven world.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're heading with this. So, protest-wise, where are we going with that? Good luck. I don't know. I
Well,
think
I'm waiting. I'm the only reason, Mellows, I'm going to these protests. I'm waiting for the right moment. When they go, I'm going in. When they
well,
go in, I'm
I
going
think
in.
what you do and what Tyrant does,
That
and
camera
in
staying
these
on, you
protests,
guys are going to be watching. The world's
I
going to
think
be watching.
those are vital. They're really important. They are literally documenting history. In 100 years' time, those videos will be
Yeah.
it will be studied, I believe, by a lot of people. I've noticed a lot of the videos have gone down and been deleted online. So I've set about a mission the past 3 years. Any video that I see, especially the protest videos that I see of interest to me, especially, I will archive them. I have terabytes of videos that I've archived. And for criminal evidence, that's all I see, because they get deleted offline. When you see something online, someone, public official breaking the law and committing.
I'm lucky to still be going. I've got like over 200 live streams up still.
Yeah, I've archived a lot of them, man. One day they will be studied by our future generations, and people will wonder what the fuck was going on here.
Yeah. I'll sometimes sit and just watch a protest sometimes. I'll go back and I'll just watch these guys and I'll just watch them and I'll see them where I haven't seen them before in a protest and I'll watch them there.
Yeah.
Like the guy in the white hat. Like I said, there was a protest before. That was the after party. There was a protest before and the white hat wearing man was in the protest and you can watch him around the protest. And you can see him walking next to the police and talking with the police as they're walking. So what's that?
This is how they operate, don't they? You know how they operate, and they think they're stupid.
Yeah, there was no
Right.
protesters aside. It was just police and the guy in the white cap. That was there in the front lines in the Hyde Park in the
You've
protest.
got to know there are those of us who are paying attention to everything
Huh?
they do. They've got to know that there are those of us who are paying attention to everything they do.
Yeah, that's why being at the back and just watching everything, that's the best position to be.
Well, these people who are who helping them create this authoritarian police state are digging their own graves. Basically, they're going to regret it. I believe they will regret it when they've turned this whole country into a shit show.
How will they regret it? We'll
More
be dead.
shit show than it is right.
We're
Sorry?
all gonna die. We're all gonna be following in their way, and then we're gonna die.
Well, the
and
plan,
that's it.
agenda 2030 was to depopulate us all, right? So
Some of
when it
us
starts
don't
to
see
come,
it might not even start in 2030. It might start in 2040. Some of us might
That's
not
the
be.
alignment date, innit? They want to align all the countries into a certain mold. And then I think it's like from there. But it already started. It started like 20, 30 years ago, didn't it? All this shit. Probably even more.
There was hints of the COVID in the Barcelona Olympics. Was that 2004?
92? The Barcelona Olympics. Oh, do you mean the London Olympics?
No, the London Olympics, there was definitely a lot about the COVID. But the first mention of it, the first thing we saw about it, there was something about a vaccine that appeared from overseas. And that was the Barcelona Olympics opening ceremony.
What happened? No.
The London also showed completely about the COVID thing and about the NHS and the hospitals being overrun and the devil running around with frightening the children and things. Remember? That was totally about COVID.
Have we got it?
That's
Can we
getting off
put up
topic.
a video? Can you share a video of that Anonymous or Age
I haven't got a video of
opening ceremony of who? Brazil in 2012, you said.
Barcelona Olympics.
Barcelona.
Not sure what year.
We're coming up to the time now. It's 11:30. We should have done this at the start of the stream. Sorry to cut everybody off, but it has to be done on this channel. It's the evening register, and the way it works is you put 1 in the chat if you bash the like button, and I'll give you a shout.
Oh wow, I could put a 1.
Come on, let's see the chat. Spammed with 1. You can put 1 twice if you need to. So we've got.
This is not 666, JD.
Oh, we've got JD at 333s. Oh. What does 333 mean in the what is this
It's
called?
just half a devil.
We've got Age Case. Oh, we've got Win Some, Lose Some. Yes, mate. Keep making those videos. Yeah. I've got a few ideas. Maybe you can message me. I'll message you on Discord later.
Oh, vanished. Play the game. Play the game.
Anonymous. Hello, mate. Yes,
Yeah.
we've got 1 from you. We've got Clarice again. We've got Sean E. We've got Rebel 1970. Hello, mate. We've got JD again, and we've got Vanished. Yes. So there we go. That's the evening register done.
There you go, mate. I posted something for you. Do you want to read it?
What, out loud?
If you want, yeah.
Okay, so I got a message here. I'll read out to the chat. Choose your leaders with wisdom and forethought. To be led by a coward is to be controlled by all that the coward fears. To be fed by a fool is to be led by the opportunists and control the fools, who control the fools. To be led by a thief is to offer up your most precious treasures to be stolen. To be led by a liar is to ask to be told lies. To be told by a tyrant is to sell yourself and those you love into slavery. In the chat, guys, what did you think of that? What were your thoughts about that little speech? What was
Good
that?
words, man. Good words. I like it. Nice.
Where was that from, Meadows?
I think that was from what's his name? That South African president. What's his name?
Mandela.
Mandela. Yeah.
Oh, Mandela. Okay, sure. Nelson Mandela.
Everyone has forgotten that then because of the Mandela effect.
Choose your leaders with wisdom and forethought. To be led by a coward
No song about
is
Nelson
to be
Mandela.
controlled. Yeah. So it's a bit of food for thought, you know. These people are everything that speech just said. They're cowards, they're opportunities, they're fools, and they're thieves, and they're tyrants, and they're all of those things. And they're going to sell us into slavery, and they've sold us all into slavery. We've been sold to the Chinese right now, so we're going to adopt their new system. The reason for it is because of the US dollar that's collapsed. The Chinese yuan is going to take over as the world currency, right? So reading between lines.
Well, I like the idea of cashless society.
I don't want to be controlled.
Yeah, I don't mind having the option, right? But don't tell me
Well,
what I
you
can do.
don't. If you don't, it doesn't matter what you think. It's gonna happen anyway.
The only way of getting out of that control system is by sort of growing your own food and powering your own house.
Even then, they will come in and there's some reason for. I mean, look at during the COVID lockdown, how many farms, the animals they slaughtered, and people they chucked into jail because they weren't compliant. We
The
know
way
how.
we're talking.
Anything that happens in China is going to be happening over here once they take over, right?
The way we're talking now, yeah, conspiracy theories. There ain't gonna be no more conspiracy theories in that.
It's just going to be conspiracy facts.
Yeah. After the Third World War, that's it. There's gonna be no more conspiracy. The world's gonna come together and hopefully realize bombing each other.
We are at war with Russia. Even our foreign minister has admitted as much. He actually made an announcement saying that we are at war. He used those very words, war with Russia.
I said this on last week's stream. What is so important that the media is covering this war, the Ukraine and Russian war, and not all the other wars in the world?
It's because they're laundering loads of money. I mean, how the hell does all these billions of pounds worth of bullets and weapons, right, that we sent to Ukraine end up in Africa and hand with terrorist groups like ISIS and
But over time, how much have we sent? Well, this country's government has sent to other countries over the years.
Billions.
Trillions.
Billions, exactly. Trillions, yeah.
But we probably make more money from it, don't we? Like,
Yeah, it's all about, you know, they don't send no money without nothing in return. Rothschilds have already been over there and carved up on how they're going to rebuild Ukraine. So they've got, you know, the Ukrainian people, whoever's going to, you know, whatever's going to be left with Ukraine is going to be forever in debt to these bankers to rebuild their structure, their infrastructure. Everything's been annihilated, destroyed. There's nothing left. You know.
so what we're doing next in a couple of weeks or something? We're doing medicinal cannabis, aren't we?
Ooh, I like
That's
that.
it. Yep. What are your thoughts just by those words, Anoniku? Medicinal cannabis. What are your thoughts just by those two words?
Sorry, I was so busy. I was trying to roll a joint.
Oh, what flavor is it?
No idea.
You know what?
Yeah, of course it's medicinal. That's
You
why
know,
I take it.
I like the word medicinal cannabis. I prefer it to alternative medicine, right? Because how can it be the alternative medicine when it was the original medicine?
Yeah.
Surely everything after is the alternative, right? Like the
Alternative, it's like a trick, I
the
swear it.
vaccines,
Like,
the injections, they're all alternative.
like some in the media labels, oh, it's alternative. Oh, be careful.
Well, it's a bit like how they did with the assault rifle, didn't it? They like to put the word assault on at the end of a word and then change the very meaning of it. You know, like an assault hammer or an assault toothpick or an assault. You know, because clearly by labeling something with the word assault and then just banning everybody from using it, because that's going to stop everybody from hurting people, right? Crazy people are just going to obey them orders and not hurt people because you can't use a hammer anymore because it's now classed as an assault hammer. This world has gone insane, bro. I don't get any of it. It's upside down. The whole world is just led by a bunch of fools who are confusing everybody, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. No one's paying attention. It's a joke. Everything that comes out. I mean, I put on the Parliament sometimes, and I watch the Parliament channel, and I don't know why I do it to myself. I do it because I've got to pay attention, right? And every time I put it on, it infuriates me, man. Every time I know everything they're saying is a lie. And I don't know why I do it, but I do it to myself. I know I do it because I know there's not that many people out there that are doing it. There's not that many people out there that are willing to hold their public officials accountable. No one's going to do no subject access requests. No one's going to do no complaints or, so there's quite literally a handful of people out there that are putting themselves out there to do things, archive things, complain about things, put things in motion. Nobody bothers. Nobody cares. That's the sad thing about it.
There's a small minority of us.
Yeah, when I say nobody,
maybe 5%.
I mean, yeah, there's this very small percentage of us, and I do get a lot of encouragement when I look across and I see somebody who recognize what they do and what they do. It fills me up with hope. But
the government only need 15% of the population to keep their game going. Basically, it's probably not even 15%. It's probably 10% or something. I mean, no one voted Rishi Sunak in, did they?
No.
No. All this trust before.
These people are selected. They never voted. Every one of them. Sadiq Khan. Oh my God! I was listening to that video. Did you see that video? Every time somebody opposed him, he was like, "Oh, you're a far right anti-fascist. You're an anti-vaxxer. You're an anti-masker. You're an anti-this. You're an anti-that." He's just, God, I'd feel like strangling him like Bart Simpson. Like, oh, you know what I mean? The guy is taking a piss, and he's just sitting there blatantly getting away with it, and the media prop him up. Instead of tearing him apart like they can do, if the media just did their job, That's where the whole stack of cards will fall down. Where's the journalists gone? Where's the media gone? Why all of a sudden we have to become our own journalists, our own media? Because they're not doing the job properly. They're not holding these people accountable.
And I know so many people that have said, you know, I've had vaccines in the past, but I didn't take this one. And yeah, there's a lot of
That
people that
means
have
they're
said that.
pure blood.
Yeah.
Means they're
That's
pure
Well,
blood.
it
They're
means
all
like
complicit.
the other
They're all-
vaccines
they're
they
all
thought
complicit.
were going to help them, and this vaccine they just saw the bullshit behind it. I suppose maybe that's why they took the other ones and not this one.
They're
I
all
don't know.
guilty as hell, man. They're all guilty for treason and crimes against humanity, right? And they know it, even though they won't never get. They can't afford to, you know, admit it. They know it. They know it, and soon the whole world will know
Well,
it.
all these other vaccines. Well, hold on a second. Hold on a second, Meadows. All these other vaccines that you've taken are exactly the same. They're exactly the same
Listen,
company,
the CRISPR
Pfizer, Moderna, all of
mRNA.
them.
The
I mean, I
CRISPR.
think I had a tuberculosis one when I was a little kid. Do you know
Hang
what I
on,
mean?
hang on.
I think
Let's
everyone
just
does, don't
pause
they?
a minute. The CRISPR mRNA experimental so-called vaccine only by name is not a
Yeah.
vaccine, right?
Yeah, no, it's not.
So it's a gene experimental tool, right?
But we
It's
got
a
to be
gene,
It
careful what
was
we
a
say as well.
pandemic, remember?
right?
Remember, be careful what we're saying as well. Like,
Don't worry.
we don't want to ruin it.
It should be fine, age.
You
No,
reckon?
it should age. It should be fine because
It was an experiment.
if I've experimented age, so it should be fine when it comes to repeal
It
it.
was an experiment, and the media were complicit in crimes against humanity. They were the mouthpiece for the government. Instead of holding them accountable, they enabled them. The influencers around the world, the actors, the Arnold Schwarzeneggers and the like, and all these people who influenced the public to go ahead and screw your freedoms. You remember when Arnie said that? Screw your freedoms. Go and get the vaccine. Yeah. And he was going on about the
It was what saved the
Arnie.
NHS, protect the innocent, stay at home.
Yeah. Do you
Something
remember
like
those
that.
posters that they put up and down the place with the granny? Oh, save your granny's life. Yeah. Meanwhile, they're euthanizing the grannies, right?
Yeah.
Matt Hancock, you know,
Putting
Matt
them on
Hancock,
like end of life.
criminal.
Fucking,
He needs to
yeah.
be brought up in at the Hague, right, for the crimes that he's committed, right?
Yeah,
Murdering
definitely.
almost over 11,000 elderly, and nobody even
And he
blinked.
wouldn't have thought that up on his own. That would have been. He would have just been told to do that.
Exactly. He's a puppet, just like all of them. It doesn't matter what color you
What
put on
did
there, red, blue. It's the same puppet master's hand that's going to be up their ass.
resist, defy, do not comply is the chant Piers Corbyn has been chanting for the last 3 years at these protests.
Yeah. I just don't trust him.
Whilst wearing a yellow T-shirt, looking rather ridiculous, and a
Yeah.
scruffy old overcoat.
Well, I just don't trust him. I mean, some of the portrayal of the media, how they brought him on, and it just made him look like a right
They
tit.
see me.
I think
Everybody knows me at
the
the
idea
protest.
of it, I think the idea of it is to have this tit-looking guy, right, be at the forefront of you know, any kind of discrediting they want to do on the media. So they just bring this idiot up, and all he's do is just stand there looking pretty, and you know, they make him look like sound like an idiot. They ask him all these stupid questions, and then they cut him off, and then all of a sudden they've got their narrative. This guy is nothing more than just a waste of space, in my opinion. What has he done? In 3 years that I've seen him banging on at in some of these live streams, what has he done? What exactly has he achieved? If anything, I think he's made things worse.
He was in Oxford a
surgery.
few weeks ago. He was in Oxford a
No.
few weeks ago, and he was looking very scruffy in an overcoat. It was quite cold, and I offered to give him a nice cashmere overcoat that was well tailored by London tailor, And I said, here you are, Piers. Take this coat. You look a lot better. And he refused it. He didn't want it. He much preferred his
No,
very
he's
scruffy
in
looking.
uniform at the moment. He's dressed specifically, like he's probably his gear has probably been bought for him. He's been told what to wear. It's got a certain look.
It's part of an image.
Yeah.
It's manufactured. He's acting.
And then
Wacko scientist. He looks like a
you'll
wacko
notice any
scientist.
pictures you
right?
see of him in the media, you'll notice that there'll be a bunch of other lunatics standing in the crowd with some weird hair and some things and doing.
Well, I
looking
noticed
really
he's got
stupid,
Bongo Nick
standing right
Bongo
next to
Nick
him.
was, he used to have that funny little chap with the tattoos.
Yeah, Tapman.
Yeah.
No, he was a strange looking dude.
Man.
Yeah, no, I think they're just for the camera.
Tapman's been replaced with Bongo Nick or Nipples Knickers.
Bongo
The
Nick.
media takes
No,
a
no,
little
no,
snappy
no.
snaps. They've got these impressionable
No,
images.
I don't know, kid.
Yes.
I know Bongo Nick way before the protests. I used to see him. Yeah. When I used to go to.
Is he Pierre's boyfriend?
No. He met him at the protest, and
I know,
think
but he replaced Tapman as his left hand.
No. I'll tell you something. No. I'll tell you something. The way he is and the way he acts, he's always acted the same. Before he met.
I know Nick. I've met Nick, and I gave him a Jam for Freedom
Can I ask a question?
racket.
What does Piers
I knew him.
do?
I knew him in like 2019, before the pandemic. This Bongo Nick,
He's sort of
the funny man.
Yeah, he does a lot of funny dancing.
Yeah. He's always like that. Ever since I first met him.
He's a gay chap who's quite open about his.
He said he's a dancer. He used to be a dancer, and he's done 1,000 dance shows, and some of them in central London.
Yeah.
So he's probably a millionaire, and he's got nothing to do, and that's what he does all day, in that t-shirt and shorts.
No matter how cold it is, he's wearing that bloody
I
t-shirt.
know. Fuck it, I've told him how many times. And he's growing that beard now.
Yeah. It was on November the 5th, 18 months ago. He was outside the High Court when Jam for Freedom were in court, and Piers was in court.
He was outside with the drums. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was chatting to him then. I bought him a sweatshirt from Jam for Freedom because he looked so fucking cold.
The next protest I'm going to is the official voice one again, where it's a good protest. The vaccinated and the non-vaccinated come together. You know.
When's that?
Oh God. You're in my Discord. I've posted it there.
Right.
In the.
I'm maybe coming up to London next Saturday.
Oh, what's next
There's
Saturday?
some protest
What's the
next
date?
Saturday going on, and there's also an event going on in the Denmark Arms with actual coverage. Who's a friend of mine. It's his 40th birthday.
Actual coverage, Siraj. Wow.
Siraj, yes.
40 years old. Wow. I'm turning 33 this year.
That's a good number.
Local, I'm gonna have to shoot off. You know, I am knackered.
Yeah. I'm gonna close it down as well now.
Yeah,
It's been fun taking
it's
part.
been a good chat, man. It's been a good chat.
Enjoyed it. Catch you
Thanks,
again
man.
Gone for
sometime.
hours.
Keep up the good
Yeah.
work, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Great show,
I
man.
really did.
Thank you to Mellows for jumping on, and to Anonaq as well.
Yep. I'll probably say goodbye. Goodbye to everyone in the chat. Anon, I'll speak to you soon, bro.
All right, take care. Bye, Mellows. Bye, everybody.
Yeah, I'll be
Take it easy.
over
Cheers,
in the
guys.
usual place every once a month. You know.
Yeah.
See you guys later. Bye.
And AgeCase, so next week we're not gonna be streaming, but the week after we'll be back with medicinal cannabis
Yeah, that'd be good.
at 9:30 on a Sunday
Yeah,
or Thursday.
it's up to you, man. Anytime. Don't mind.
And the closest one we do it in it.
Yeah. Thursday, that'll be, I think.
All right, then, guys. Thank you to everybody for joining, for bashing that like button. Any new subscribers, thank you, and we'll see you again all in 2 weeks' time.
Speak soon.